After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create lower thirds, which you can use in, which you can create and use in your videos and videos on YouTube. Before we get right into this video, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the like on this video. Make sure to hit that red subscribe button. Also, make sure the notification bell is clicked so you don't miss a single upload that come to this channel. Also, if you enjoy what you're seeing right now, you can join. I do have a Patreon where you can unlock benefits from early access, unlock project files, and so much more. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server where you can meet other current and future content creators, game developers there to make friends. Also, I want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor. This video is sponsored by Raise Energy. Thank you, Raise Energy, for sponsoring this video. Link to Raise Energy will be down in the description, and also use my code JonJonGames at checkout for 15% off your entire order. So let's get right into the video. What you're gonna do is launch After Effects. If you don't see what you launch After Effects, you should see two windows. One is the welcome screen, and the other one is the main one. If you don't see that, and you're directly in here where I'm at, we need to go to File, New Project. Once you're in this mode, once you create the new project in the welcome screen, it'll ask you to name the project. So once you've done that, we're gonna go to composition, new composition, and we're gonna rename this one to lower thirds. The background color will be green. I'm gonna keep the project. I'm gonna keep this project 1920 by 1080. Also gonna keep the frame rate at 60 frames per second, and then down here the time code. The start time will be 0, and the duration will be 10 seconds. So you can pause this and copy my settings. Once you're satisfied with that, click OK. And this is what you should have. So you got a blank project file. Before we continue this, I wanted to save this project so After Effects doesn't crash. Well, if it's your first time, it may crash when you start animating it and messing around with this little bar right here. It might if you do that too much when you're trying to animate stuff, it will not respond and will go into crash. So in order to avoid this, file, save as. It'll give you a folder titled After Effects -projects. You can see the previous projects I have done in the past. This one I'm gonna title lower. I already got one named lower third, so we're gonna title this. I'm gonna call this social media lower. I'll call this social media graphics. And hit enter to save. You can call it whatever you want. So I'm gonna go to my file explorer, and I'm gonna be using one of these images to make it a lower third. Before I do that, I need to create the background. Right now we have a blank checker background. So I want to put this in the editing software that has the chroma key feature. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to this project window bottom right hand here. I'm gonna right click, new, create a solid color. By default, it's gonna be green. So I'm gonna title this one green screen. There we go. We got a nice green background. I want to pre-compose this order to do that, we're gonna go make sure our green screen background is selected. Right click that and scroll up to you see pre-compose. You click that. It'll say green screen comp 1. I'm gonna take out comp 1 and just keep it as green screen. And make sure to leave all the attributes and lower thirds. Do not take this one. I recommend leave all the attributes and lower thirds. So we're gonna hit enter to or click OK to apply those settings. It will give you, and this is what you should have. I'm gonna press Control S on my keyboard to save this. Save this so I don't lose any progress. Now we can import the images. The first one I'm gonna use is, you know what? Let me try. I'm gonna use this Epic Games one, the Epic Games logo. Just drag and drop it there. Alright, so we import it into the project. I'm gonna left click on the logo. I'll drag it and make sure it's above the green screen. If it's below the green screen, it's gonna be behind the green screen. So you always want to keep everything above the green screen. Otherwise you cannot see it at all. Alright, so we drag it on top of the green screen. As we're now, it's covering the center of the screen, so we need to resize this. In order to do this, we're gonna press S on the keyboard to bring out the scale. We're gonna change this to like 25%. Then we're gonna press P on our keyboard, bring out the position. Then I'm gonna left click and drag this to like the bottom left hand corner. You can corner because I like it there. Or you can copy the position settings I have here, which is 152 to 932. Alright, so now we got this logo. And now I want to add text here. Alright, before we add the text on it, I want to animate the logo first. So I want to do it by the position. So make sure you had the make sure your green screen is not selected. Make sure you had the logo selected. Make sure the position is still visible. If you hit this little arrow by accident, just hit P on your keyboard. It'll bring out the position back up. Alright, so we can do it either left by dragging it to the side here, then coming out, or we can go like this, then that. Whoops. 152 by 936. Alright, so I'm gonna go from bottom to top, then the text from left to right. So how we're gonna animate this? We're gonna be using keyframes. So if you're gonna animate a lower third, you'll be using keyframes. For me, I have a lot of experience using keyframes, so I'm good. If it's your first time, if you're new to using keyframes, just follow along. Alright, so Alright, make sure you don't. Alright, make sure on the mouse wheel, do not scroll backwards or forwards, because it will mess up. So try to avoid the middle mouse wheel as much as possible. Alright, so how are we going to get this to animate? With our position still showing, we need to hit this little timer icon. That will put a keyframe at the beginning at 0 seconds. We want to tell After Effects, do not move this particular object until the next keyframe. Alright, so let's say we're going down then up again. So where's this 936? I want to drag that to the right as much as I can until it's off screen, which is 1250. That will be the starting position. Then I want it to last 3 seconds. So drag your this little cursor over here to 3 seconds, or you can go right in here in the in a little time slot and just type in 3 seconds. It will take you to that specific keyframe. Then we're gonna, without touching, do not touch the stopwatch until we're ready. Actually, do not touch that timer. Once you click that timer once to start the start position, do not touch that timer or that stopwatch, whatever you want to call it. You want to go to where the speaker, this little audio icon is. Scroll down till you see this little diamond shaped icon. You click that. That will add another keyframe. So now we want it to go back to its original position that we did earlier. So we're gonna type in 936. I'll bring up that. It'll go up to there. So let's replay this and see how it looks like. It might be laggy for the most part. Okay, it's getting too slow. We need to speed it up to like 1.5 seconds. You can mess around with this. I'm gonna say right about there. Now let's see how this looks. Like I said, it's gonna be a little laggy at the start because we just moved that last keyframe. Okay, so we need to make sure to Control S to save. Make sure you always forget to go back from scratch 1. Alright, let's try 1 second. Let's try that again. Alright, we need to zoom in on this timeline. Let's try to go to the 30th frame, which is 30 seconds. Alright, so how we make this a little smoother? Within our timeline where we put those keyframes, you left click and just drag, and it'll select those 2 keyframes. Right click, keyframe assistant, and select easy ease, or press F9. Now we got it. It makes the keyframes a little bit smoother so it doesn't lag. That's why I always, those lower thirds that you saw in my previous videos, that's done by keyframe. Those keyframes are easy ease because it makes it a lot smoother. If you leave it by default, it will be a little bit laggy. So make sure to do that every time you go create a new lower third, or when you go to animate something in After Effects. Make sure your keyframes is on easy ease for smoother playback. So let's replay this again. Play this again. Alright, let's take this last keyframe and let's bring this in a little bit further in till we're satisfied. Let's try and get it to the 15th frame. Control S, save progress. That's a little bit better. I want to bring this in a little bit closer. That should do. But for just be on the safe side, I'll keep it at the 30th frame. Want to make sure it's at the 30th frame. Okay, it's at the 30th frame. Alright, so now we can, at the 45th frame, we're going to add a keyframe. It will tell After Effects, do not move this image or object until the next keyframe. Keep that in mind. Every time, otherwise you don't have that keyframe, let me show you. Without that keyframe, say let's go to the 3-second mark where I want to disappear off screen. If I add a keyframe there, I'll tell it to go back to 1250 down there. So if we hit playback, it'll slowly go back down. That's why it's important to have oh come on, I just lost my train of thought. Alright, that's why you want to keep it stand still at the 9:30 at the 9 that's why I highly recommend at the 40 that's why I said at the 46th frame, which is 45 seconds, add a keyframe there. It will tell After Effects, do not move that image until the next keyframe until I tell you to. That's important. That's like I said, make sure to have a keyframe like 15 seconds after or 15 frames after you place to move it on screen. So I want it to last till about 3.5 seconds. Or let's keep it let's move it out of screen at 5 seconds. So where that 5-second frame is, which is 5 frames. Before we hit that, we need to go to let's scroll right in here at the 445th frame. Add a keyframe. Automatically, remember when we those little diamond keyframes and we easing them out? When we play that keyframe system, the Easy Ease, every time you go to add a new keyframe, it will keep that keyframe assistant Easy Ease applied to that keyframe, so it'll be a lot smoother. So now if we go back to the 5-second frame, add another keyframe, and we can just type in 1250. I'll take it off screen. So let's scroll this out and see how that looks like now. Make sure to Control S to save those changes, and then hit spacebar to play. Alright, I'm gonna drag this cursor where it goes off screen, press spacebar, and boom, perfect. Alright, so now we got that. So we got that animated. We can close this out. Wait for After Effects to. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh, that stupid cursor. Alright, we can close that out. Make sure the hand tool is not selected. Make sure to keep it on the mouse color. For the selection, make sure the selection tool is selected, but you can click it here or press Control V. Alright, so now we gotta make some adjustments here. I'm going to, whoops, get out of there. I'm going to rename this layer. Right click, rename to, I'll call this Epic Games logo. because we default it gives it our name because I downloaded off Google Images. Now we're gonna get text, some text on here. So let's bring this cursor out here with the Epic Games logo appearing on screen. On the very top here, above where it says View, click the text tool. I'm gonna left click here. I'm gonna spell out my Epic Games username, which is JonJon58. Once I'm satisfied with my name, I just drag it in position. I'll make sure the caps lock is off. Bring it somewhere like there. Expand it out just a little. And yes, it's all in case. The font I'm using is Agency FB. You can go to Google, just go to Google and search Agency FB font download. Oh, there's some websites you can download from there. For the text size, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna put it as 100. Just move this to the side a little bit. Alright, at the starting position, we want off screen. So make sure the text layer is selected. Hit P on your keyboard and bring out the position, and click that little stopwatch. Now instead of messing on the right side of this one, which is last time we did it on the Y position. Now we're doing it on the X position, which is the horizontal. The vertical is the Y. So if you're going down, if you're messing with the right side, you're messing with the Y axis. If you want to go left and right, you want it on the horizontal, which is the X axis. So where's the 692? We're gonna drag that to the left. Keep dragging it to the left till it disappears off screen. And it's gonna be negative 575 for the starting position. Make sure to know your starting positions, and because you can also use it as your, if you're gonna animate it off screen, you can use that same position location as the that position to take it off screen. Alright, so so that's our starting position. After the Epic Games logo, so we need to hit position on the Epic Games logo for reference. We want the text to appear after the Epic Games logo is displayed on screen. So we're gonna add another keyframe right here for the text. It will tell the engine do not move the text into the next keyframe. So I'm gonna say like at the 1 second frame, I'm gonna add another keyframe. I'll just drag this out. Just drag it to the right side. We're gonna keep it 696. Will be a good position for that. Okay, so as I scroll through here, the text goes in front of the logo. So we don't want that. We want to go right behind the logo. So we're gonna move the text layer and just drag it to the bottom of the Epic Games logo. See, now it scrolls behind the logo. Alright, once it's there, at the few frames after, add another keyframe so it does not move. So when this one starts to go off screen, add another keyframe right there. Then after the Epic Games logo is appeared off screen, I'm gonna go a few seconds after. or do it at the same time as it's going off screen. Add another keyframe there, and we're gonna type in -595 to take it off screen. So now we need to apply the keyframe assistant. Left click, just drag out on the timeline, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease or F9. And we can control S to save that. And this is what we should have at this time. And I'm going to go towards where it goes off screen. It will go off screen at the same time. So I'm going to drag this little marker right here. I'm going to bring this in. And I'm going to hold shift to select the text and the logo at the same time. Then I'm going to press shift control D to duplicate. And select delete. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the green screen too. Alright, make sure the green screen is selected as well. Y'all probably know this by now. Shift Control D to duplicate that, delete the remainder. And now once we're satisfied with that, this is what we should have. Epic Games, then that. Whoops. Want the cursor. Alright. Go where it goes off screen. Then boom. Then it will continue looping. Alright, so now once you're satisfied, it's ready for export. Alright, so the way I'm gonna teach you all to do this, make sure the Control S is saved, make sure the project is saved. Now we're gonna export this. We're not going to add it to the render queue. We're gonna be using Adobe Media Encoder queue. Because we didn't add no sounds to this, because when you go to drag and drop, when you go to use this in your editing software, it will show the video footage and the audio at the same time, the audio link. So since we didn't use any audio for this tutorial, we need to use Adobe Media Encoder queue. So the way to do that is go to File, Export. File, Export. Okay, so it's not letting me do it for some reason. File, Export. There we go. Sometimes you have to left click off the project or do that. Alright, so once again, whoops, not home, you dipshit. File, Export. Oh my god. File, Export, add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. It may take a few moments to load it, so I'm going to pause right here and I'll be back. Okay. Okay, once Adobe Media Encoder queue has been loaded. Okay, so this was a last project that I exported. By default, there will be nothing added here, so we need to go back into After Effects and do it again. So we need to go back into After Effects, go to File, Export, add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. And should add it to the queue. The way I'm going to save this is I created another folder in my Documents folder, and I titled it Adobe Projects, After Effects Projects dash Final. Let me show y'all how to do it here in a minute. I just told this thing to go to Adobe Media Encoder queue. Alright, make sure audio and code watch folders unchecked. Alright, so what I want to do is first I want to change the output. So I'm gonna click that one. Then I'm gonna go to my documents folder, and I'm gonna click on my folder that I created, which is After Effects Final Projects. I'll make sure I'm gonna call this Epic Partner Creator Code Animation. Then I'm gonna click on the file, give it the name, and click Save. Now I'm gonna go to where it says preset. I'm gonna click on that. And we'll give it a few seconds to load it up. Okay, so now we need to go to where it says export settings. The preset we want is, you click on the drop down menu, scroll down to YouTube 1080p. You can have it 720p. That's our recommendations. I highly recommend. If you're willing to do, if you got a good computer that can render out 4K, you can select YouTube 2160p, 4K Ultra HD. For me, I'm gonna keep it at 1080p. Output name Epic Partner Creator Code, or whatever you named it. It will be .mp4. Alright, so this is where the options here. We got one that says export video and an export audio. Make sure export video is ticked. We always want it ticked. Otherwise, if we have it unticked, it will not show the video. Make sure export video is ticked. The one we want to untick, since we're not using any audio in the lower third, we want export audio to untick that. It will not export the audio, because it will tell you right here in the output in the summary, not audio, not audio. Make sure to have that unticked, because I already made that mistake once. Then we'll go down to the video tab and review the basic video editing, the video settings. We'll make sure the format is 1920 by 1080 and 60 frames per second. If you want to change the the frame rate, make sure to go to this little tick box, untick that, and you can change it down to 30, 29.97. For me, I'm gonna keep it at 60, so I'm gonna keep that ticked. The other settings I would not mess with. Once we satisfied with these settings, you can pause the video and copy my settings. Once we're satisfied with that, we can click OK. Now it's ready for export. Now what we gotta do is go to the top right hand corner and select this little green play button. It will start the queue. So or you can press on your keyboard, and alright, let's start exporting this out. Let's click play. And on the bottom right hand corner here, you can see the exporting. It will take a few seconds to export it out. Alright, export it out. Alright, so we can close this out. Go to our folder where it's saved. Make sure we After Effects File Projects. And boom, there it is. If we double click it, we can review the actual playback in real time. Since we're almost at 3,000 subscribers, I will give away this After Effects template for y'all for free. So you can mess around these keyframes, but it just here's the playback. That is clean. That is clean. Look at that. We're gonna watch this one more time, then we're gonna end the tutorial. Look at that, smooth. That's why I always use keyframe assistant on easy ease, because it will give you smoother playback. Alright guys, that is simply how to make lower thirds. Since we're almost hitting 3,000 subscribers, I'll give away this template for y'all for free. But you can mess around this anyway, as long as you have After Effects 2021 or newer, because it will not work in the previous versions of After Effects. It will not. I highly recommend not using it in the cracked versions because it's gonna break the file. The reason why I don't recommend the pirated versions of After Effects because it's gonna break the file. Make sure you have the legitimate copy of After Effects, which is by Adobe. Do not go to don't. If there's any videos on YouTube that says how to get Adobe After Effects free, do not pay attention to those people. They're just asking. They're taking you to sites that will give you malware on your computers. So go by Adobe. Make sure you go through the actual company itself, Adobe. They're the legitimate company. They're the ones with the legitimate copy. So I recommend go through Adobe for the legitimate copy because it will not break the file. Alright guys, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys in a brand new video.